Uh, I think we just going. Hi everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Once again, I would like to welcome you all. I think without wasting even a single second, we're going live with Mr. Kamran Rizvi with a very fantastic and outstanding topic. So, you have, first of all, I would like to welcome you on this platform, and on the behalf of whole team, I would like to say thanks to you for giving this time slot to us, and all of our viewers. They're just waiting to listen you. So I think we have to start it now. So,
तो मैं शुरू करूं
sir, you are welcome.
लेकिन आप गायब नहीं होंगे, आपको सामने होना है।
Okay.
आपको सामने होना है, मेरे सामने होना है।
Okay. I will also be here.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलामु अलैकुम। मेरा तारुफ जो है वो मुख्तसर सा है, कामरान रिजवी, and the topic that I have today, and I feel it is very relevant to startups as well as to investors, which is confronting tough realities with vision and courage. अच्छा, अब इस मौजू को टच करने के लिए अगर आप गौर करें तो कोविड-19 से बड़ा टफ रियलिटी माहौल में कभी नहीं आया है। ठीक है, तारीख में, इंसानी तारीख में 2020 has kicked off with a bang.
For the whole environment.
Absolutely. And in 2020, we've seen that two big challenges have emerged: livelihood and lives. And we're faced with that. Now, of course, when we look at situations of the kind that we are faced with, there are threats. And we know that when there are threats, there are opportunities. And the greater the threats, the greater the opportunities, number one. Now, of course, there will be many casualties in this. I might be one of them, who knows? But the fact of the matter is that we all came with a return ticket, confirmed a return ticket to where we came from. And the flight can be announced at any time for anyone. And if we are here and we are not prepared to go back, then I think we're not living a life. So confronting tough realities is not just external, to which I referred, in which economies are struggling, industries are struggling, and some are booming at this point in time. As you know, that Zoom and StreamYard and other platforms have literally become the airlines of tomorrow. Because what is happening is that human beings are connected, invest in, and this conference is an international conference. It would never have been possible at a very low cost to connect so many people so effectively and to get pitches going and investors listening to them and questioning and probing and having those presentations being made and being challenged as well. So having said that there are external challenges, I just want to cut to the chase and say that the bigger tough reality is not outside, it is within us all. And that tough reality is the self itself. Because if you notice, what we keep hearing is that we are currently gripped by fear. Now, if we are gripped by fear, how can we think straight? And if we cannot think straight, how can we plan? How can we strategize? How can we make a success of the opportunity that we have seen, identified, and have sought investors and have moved into the marketplace? So the question here is, the tougher reality is not the one outside, it is the one within us. Having said that, I would like to simply refer to a lot of areas that are going to help us. So for example, when faced with a tough reality, what are we supposed to be doing? Number one, we need to acknowledge the situation. Now, acknowledging the situation simply means taking stock of what's happening, using our analytical mind as well as our critical mind, and try to sift data which is, as you know, today with the social media and the conventional channels giving information, a lot of doubts are created because of fake news that we hear as well. So this conundrum is very hard to handle. And you can only deal with that if you are using your critical and analytical faculties and arriving at conclusions that help you make better decisions. Of course, rational decision-making is not the only thing that you need to do. Intuition also comes into play because we are confronted with uncertainty. And we all know that the world in which we are is volatile, it is uncertain, it is complex, and it is very ambiguous. And as you realize that when you're driving on the motorway, if you can't see clearly and there is fog and the visibility is, let's say, 500 yards, you will slow down from 120 right down to something like 80. When that visibility drops to 100 yards, you'll slow down even further till it comes to 10 yards, and you will just try to stop, put on your hazard lights, and pray that no one hits you from the back. That's how it works. Now, if you cannot see ahead, it means you lack vision, because एक होती है eyesight और एक होती है mind sight. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ बसीरत की, मैं बात बिसारत की नहीं कर रहा. धुन में बिसारत जो है वो चली जाती है, लेकिन हमारी बसीरत तो रहती है. और उस बसीरत का जो तरीका है वो ये कि हम सिचुएशन को एक्नॉलेज करें, चैलेंजेस को समझें. और आप जानते हैं कि एनालिटिकल टूल्स हमारे पास बेशुमार होते हैं फॉर स्ट्रेटेजिक थिंकिंग. दूसरा ये होता है कि जब आप स्ट्रेटेजिक थिंकिंग करते हैं, इट इज विद द इंटेंशन टू हैव अ प्लान. अच्छा, अब प्लान भी डायनामिक होता है. जब अनसर्टनिटी हो तो आपके पास प्लान ए होगा तो प्लान बी भी होगा, प्लान सी भी होगा, प्लान डी भी होगा, प्लान ई भी हो सकता है. लेकिन फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी हैज टू बी बिल्ट इन. और यहाँ पर मैं एक चीज कहना पसंद करूंगा.
कॉल कर लें, आई थिंक ही इज
सॉरी,
क्योंकि उसका माइक काम नहीं कर रहा था. मैं और तला हम लोग बैठे हुए थे.
मैं रिक्वेस्ट कि वो म्यूट कर दें जो भी बात कर रहे थे अभी. तो फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी जो है, इट इज often misunderstood. I'll share a quote with you. The quote is, carve your goals in stone and your plans in sand. अक्सर मैंने इदारों में देखा है जब मैं गया हूँ, and I'm a consultant, I'm serving about 300 organizations in the country. I talk about strategy and leadership and organization development and capability enhancement and tapping into human potential. And when I go to my clients or companies that I had served, let's say 5 years ago, मैं पूछता हूँ एक कंपनी का वाकया ये था कि how have things been in the last 3 years? Sir, very good, 100% of budget. तो मैंने कहा, how did you achieve that? तो उन्होंने कहा कि we kept revising the budget in light of changing circumstances, and that's how we achieved the 100%. Now, that is not how you run a business. You have to commit to the goal and find ways of achieving that goal in light of changed circumstances. And if you are inflexible with your plans, then I'm afraid you are going to compromise on your goal. And that is what I see often happening. So that's the second point. The first one was acknowledge the situation, analyze it critically, do a strategic map on it, come up with a plan which is flexible. Then here comes another very important aspect. When you're dealing with tough situations with wisdom and vision, you need to seek help when necessary. And let me tell you that a lot of times our egos come in the way. How can wouldn't it be a sign of weakness if I go turn to people for help? And I have a feeling that this is where we become extremely vulnerable unnecessarily, because when help was available, we didn't call upon it. So CEOs often have difficulty asking their colleagues for help because they are the CEO and they must know certain things, and they'll be found out if they were shown to be lacking in certain understanding or knowledge. So please never, never hesitate in a situation which is of the kind that we are particularly faced nowadays to seek help when necessary from your team members, from your colleagues, indeed, even from stakeholders. There's no harm, because if you don't ask, you don't get. And there's no guarantee that you will achieve what you wanted, but at least you made an attempt. A lot of times situations have crashed simply because we didn't seek help when it was available. And listen, if you're afraid and you don't know what to do, it's not written on your face, and no one is going to just come and volunteer. You have to make the request yourself. And now change what you can. Whenever you're faced in a situation that is very challenging, as we are faced with right now, and a lot of businesses are on the verge of bankruptcy, a lot of businesses are very, very severely strapped for cash, change what you can. And lots of areas have to be worked out, and wisdom comes in trying to change the stuff that you can change and not the stuff that you know you cannot. So there are some controllables and some uncontrollables in the market. So change what you can, identify what is within your control, and resolve to make that change. Make example. For example, if you got fired because your boss was unfair, don't waste your time dwelling on anger. Instead, take action and begin applying for new jobs as soon as possible. And इसी तरह से और बहुत सी situations हैं, लेकिन ये बहुत ज़रूरी होता है कि हम policies को देखें, अपनी HR hiring policies को भी देख सकते हैं, firing policies को देख सकते हैं, अपने processes को देख सकते हैं, because ultimately a business survives when it is receptive to the needs of customers and is very quick to analyze and deliver and execute products or services on time to the customer who needs it when he or she needs it or they need it. So B2B maybe or B2C maybe responsiveness हमें अपनी बढ़ानी है, and that is where the changes have to be made either in processes or systems or technology in order to speed things up in difficult times. Of course, identify what you can't change. Don't waste your time and energy trying to change things that you can't change. I mean, anyone else, and you can't change your past. Spending too much time thinking about yaar wo kitne achhe din the is pointless. Then number 6, which I think confronting tough realities requires, is that we develop coping skills. And this is where I was saying that the toughest reality is not out there, it is within us. Just because you acknowledge a situation is very difficult doesn't mean it won't hurt. Dealing with sadness, anger, frustration, and disappointment is tough business, and we are all faced with this. Develop a plan to cope with all those difficult feelings. Resign to take care of yourself by eating healthy, getting exercise, getting adequate amounts of rest. Find strategies to deal with the complex feelings, such as spending time with loved ones, journaling, or participating in fun activities. Number 7, and I think this is very, very interesting, focus on what you can gain. तो देखा जाए तो life is full of ups and downs, and success के बारे में आपने सुना होगा कि success is what happens when preparation meets with opportunity. Now, preparation is something that you do now. ये lockdown जो है, working from home जो है, बहुत से लोग कर रहे हैं. Not everyone. There are lots of people who need to be saluted in this day and age. Healthcare में अगर आप देखें तो doctors, paramedics, nurses, they are doing a remarkable job. They are our heroes of today. Armed forces को देखें, security forces को देखें, logistic companies को देखें, telcos को देखें. I mean, ये अगर इंटरनेट ना चल रहा होता तो हम लोग किस तरह दुनिया के साथ रसाई हासिल कर सकते. तो the best part here is focus on what you can gain in this new world that we are about to enter. And often I'm asked the question, ये जो post COVID दुनिया है, ये क्या होगी, कैसी होगी, और हमारा मुस्तकबिल कैसा होगा? Always remember, future is what you will make it. And whatever you can envision, and this is where vision comes in. Wisdom comes when you decide to change the things you can and you know the things you do not change. But vision comes when you can see through the fog, and vision also comes when you're able to foresee and invent situations which meet the unmet needs of customers. अगर आप आज ये सोचें कि इन हालात में लोगों की क्या needs हैं, जितने problems होते हैं, they are all opportunities in disguise. And it is our job as leaders, as managers, as startup entrepreneurs, it is our job to ensure that we maximize on our compassion, on our care, and in the process, we discover that not only do we serve and relieve people from their pain, but at the same time, it makes a lot of good economic sense as well. So here, sincerity, authenticity comes in. And frankly, when we start seeing opportunities and threats, when we start seeing solutions to problems, when we start applying our mind, creativity and innovation comes in, that's when we are able to leverage the scenario that we are in. And for all of this to happen, we need to be full of hope. And we'll only be full of hope if we have faith. तो ये तो चंद मेरे ख्यालात थे. अगर कोई comment या question है तो मैं चाहूँगा कि उसको address करें. खुर्रम, अगर कोई सवाल हो तो बताइए, वरना मैं अपने कलामात जो है सुना चुका हूँ और कंक्लूडिंग रिमार्क्स देके फिर मैं आपसे रुखसत चाहूंगा।
जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम कामरान भाई, hope you're doing well.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम, who's this?
This is Khurram.
अरे you are Khurram, और वो bloody
Before
hell,
was Farhan.
I was told that was engineer Farhan.
That was Farhan.
Oh my God, अच्छा
Hope
sorry,
you're doing well.
very well indeed. मैं फरहान से मिला था last time, लेकिन तस्वीर छोटी थी, so I couldn't remember him. So
Not a
Khurram, how are you? I hope that the talk I gave with the 7 points gives some directions in terms of how to confront tough realities.
Right.
आप बताइए, जो मैंने अब तक बातें की हैं उसमें कोई अगर पहलू सवाल।
मेरा ख्याल है couple of points came in. पहलू इस हवाले से ये था कि बहुत ज्यादा confusion है situation में. So क्या the majorly people are wondering कि you have a strategy or follow and then try to actually adjust it on the way. जो ये अभी सारी situation हो रही है कि आपको जो बाहर की forces हैं वो बहुत ज्यादा impact कर रही हैं.
बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है, और मैं आपको यहाँ पर एक मिसाल दूंगा कि जब भी हम किसी सिचुएशन को देखें तो आधे सच का शिकार ना हो तो बेहतर है। नंबर 1, आधा सच क्या होता है? कंफ्यूजन है। अच्छा, मुकम्मल सच क्या है कि जब कंफ्यूजन होता है तो दिमाग चल रहा होता है। अच्छा, अगर दिमाग चल रहा होता है तो ये दलील किस बात की होती है कि मैं आइडियाज मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहा हूँ। अब अगर आइडियाज मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहा हूँ, वो क्यों कर रहा हूँ? क्योंकि मुझे मसले का हल चाहिए। मसले का हल क्यों चाहिए? ताकि मैं इस भंवर से निकलूं और एक नई दुनिया में दाखिल हूं। तो अगर बंदे में कंफ्यूजन ना हो और ठंड हो तो मैं कहूंगा वो खतरनाक है, बिकॉज दैट्स suicidal. So this confusion is also very encouraging if seen from a positive lens. Otherwise this confusion can lead to analysis paralysis also. ठीक है जी? तो यहाँ तो एक पहलू आ गया। अब जब हम देखते हैं कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज जो हमारे माहौल में है बिजनेस के अंदर, आपने एक बात कही, तो एक जो की वर्ड है इस दौर में और जो कि जिसको ऑनबोर्ड करना होगा फौरन हमें, और वो है एजिलिटी। वी हैव टू बी एजाइल, जिसका मैंने इस्तेमाल लफ्ज नहीं किया था बिकॉज आई फेल्ट कि जब Q&A होगा, गुफ्तगू होगी, तो उसमें एंड एजिलिटी इज द बज़वर्ड एंड नाउ इट इज द रियल वर्ड। बिकॉज जो शख्स एजाइल नहीं है और रूल्स ब्रेक करके सोल्यूशन की तरफ नहीं जाता और ब्यूरोक्रेसी का शिकार है, तो वो मैं बता रहा हूँ उस कंपनी का फ्यूचर गया और उस इंडिविजुअल का करियर गया।
अच्छा,
so we've got to be quick on our feet.
इसी चीज से एक और जो चीज लिंक है वो ये, क्या विजन को भी एडजस्ट किया करना चाहिए या विजन वही रहती है जो है?
देखिए, विजन की जो ब्यूटी है वो ये है कि इट्स डायनामिक एंड इट्स एन अट्रैक्टिव पिक्चर ऑफ अ फ्यूचर व्हिच इज डायनामिक। आई मीन स्टैटिक नहीं होता। इट्स लाइक वाचिंग अ मूवी। इफ यू नोटिस, आप जब मरी जा रहे होते हैं या नथिया गली, तो मंजर बदलता जाता है रास्ते में। अच्छा, अब वो जो मंजर बदल रहा है उसका हुस्न नहीं बदल रहा, उसके पर्सपेक्टिव्स और पहलू बदल रहे होते हैं क्योंकि आप उस इलाके में जा रहे हैं। तो विजन इज नेवर न्यूमेरिकल। विजन इज ऑलवेज a painting of a picture which not only engages your imagination, it engages your emotions, it engages your 5 senses really. And it's like when you talk of वो एक मैंगो जूस है ना, वो कौन सा ब्रांड है यार, वो जो 30 रुपए का मिलता है?
नहीं, मैं आजकल एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स नहीं देखता बिल्कुल भी। तो
वो एक है ना मैंगो जूस, और वो जब पीता हूं तो मुझे कटरीना कैफ का ख्याल आता है।
एडवर्टाइजिंग ऐसे की हुई है,
ऐसी की हुई है कि इट एंगेजेस योर सेंसेस। So the vision has to be that attractive and appealing. And I assure you, when organizations and startups in particular have a team, have a great idea and a business plan. मैं भी कुछ पिचेस सुन रहा था लाइव में, और मुझे सिर्फ इस चीज की थोड़ी सी शिकायत थी कि हमारे जो दोस्त आए थे इन्वेस्टर्स से मिलने के लिए, अगर थोड़ी सी तैयारी करके आते और अपनी पिच को मुख्तसर बनाते, तो मैं ये समझता हूँ कि फ्यूचर में जब आप ये करेंगे ना, इन्वेस्टिंग की जो कॉन्फ्रेंस है और आप स्टार्टअप्स को बुलाएंगे, इनको जरूर एक प्री पिचिंग की तैयारी करा दें, because they must have their 30-second elevator pitch. They must be able to give the business proposition and clearly describe what they are about to do or what they are proposing. अगर वो क्लैरिटी नहीं होती, तो मैं तो देख रहा था कि इन्वेस्टर्स बहुत सब्र से काम ले रहे थे और बहुत प्यार से सवाल पूछ रहे थे, और एब्स्ट्रैक्ट किस्म के जब जवाब आए तो वो बहुत ही हार्ट ब्रेकिंग होता है। I think that is something I must say, that it is critical to present your ideas clearly, powerfully, and in a manner that the investor can see a win for himself as well as win for the business. जी आप
काफी
कह रहे थे।
actually, हम लोग जाहिर है उस ट्रेनिंग बिजनेस में तो है नहीं हम लोग ये तो एंटरप्रेन्योर तो बना नहीं रहे कि यार अब बताते हैं तुम्हें कि यार ट्रेनिंग करवाएंगे लीस्ट जो हम लोग कर सकते हैं वो जैसे आपने कहा कि एक सेशन होना चाहिए वो सेशन होता है और
जी
वो
जी
सेशन इस हद तक होता है कि उसमें इवन बॉडी लैंग्वेज के बारे में बात हो रही होती है फॉरगेट अबाउट द पिच पिच और प्रेजेंटेशन वो तो जाहिर है होती है लेकिन सो मच डिटेल्स में इस हद तक बात होती है कि आपने खड़ा कैसे होना है आपने हाथ
वाह
कैसे हिलाने हैं
वाह
तो इस हद तक बात होती है लेकिन अब बता दिया है सारा कुछ कर दिया अब करना तो भाई तुम नहीं है ना हम हाथ पे
हाँ
खड़ा के
तो
नहीं कर
खुर्रम अब आपको समझ में आ गया कि हम जैसों की वैल्यू कितनी है ये तो आपको समझ में आ गया।
नहीं नहीं, बिल्कुल है
हाँ तो मैं ये जरूर कहूंगा कि वो कहते हैं ना स्टार्टअप्स में एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को एक चीज का ख्याल रखना होगा वो ये होता है एक्सपेक्ट द बेस्ट एंड प्रिपेयर फॉर द वर्स्ट। एंड होता ही है कि हम अक्सर एक्सपेक्ट द वर्स्ट कर रहे होते हैं प्रिपेयर फॉर द बेस्ट कर रहे होते हैं and it doesn't work that way. Expectation is magnetic, it's very powerful. And any idea in which the team is invested emotionally and spiritually, usko to investment milni hi milni hai. Because one thing I know about investment, money flows to where it sees itself growing. एक नेचुरल चैनल है जैसे पानी है ना जब बर्फ पिघलती है पानी अपना रास्ता बनाता है पैसे के साथ भी ऐसे ही है पैसे को किसी से प्यार नहीं है उसको सिर्फ अपनी ग्रोथ से प्यार है और जहां भी वो देखते हैं कि एक टीम है एक आइडिया है और उसके पीछे बड़ी अच्छी रैशनल थिंकिंग भी है और क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग है और नीड है मार्केट में और ये लोग मर जाएंगे लेकिन इसको करके छोड़ेंगे तो यार वहां से फ्लो शुरू होता है लेकिन अगर उन टीम में अलाइनमेंट ना हो क्लैरिटी ना हो तो फिर मेरे ख्याल से वो इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं आती आई हैव फाउंड दैट देयर आर गिवर्स एंड देयर आर दोज हु आर डूइंग ग्रेट वर्क एंड दे नीड फंडिंग तो ये सिर्फ जो आपने ब्रिज बनाया है आई टेल यू इसको मैं सल्यूट करता हूँ इट्स अ वेरी नेसेसरी एफर्ट दिस ब्रिज इज वाइटल एंड आई वुड लाइक दैट आवर स्टार्टअप्स टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी कम प्रिपेयर्ड और एक कहावत है ना जो मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले कही थी सक्सेस इज व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन प्रेपरेशन मीट्स विद अपॉर्चुनिटी तो यहाँ मुझे थोड़ा प्रेपरेशन की कमी नजर आई थोड़ा सा ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस था
नहीं बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है sorry before I let you go just one last question from Zainab says कि sometime we can't see through fog how would we focus in that time
that is when Zainab we use basirat which is vision to see through it और मैं आपको एक छोटी सी मिसाल देता हूं कि अगर आप खुर्रम में आपके जरिए ज़ैनब को पैगाम दे देता हूं अगर आप अभी ऊपर देखेंगे तो मुझे बताएंगे क्या दिखाई दे रहा है जस्ट लुक अप फिजिकली एंड टेल मी व्हाट डू यू सी देखें देखें जस्ट लुक अप छत ना तो ये आपने इसका इस्तेमाल किया है अच्छा अब आपसे मैं अगर कहूं कि बसीरत का इस्तेमाल करें तो आपको छत नहीं आपको आसमान दिखाई देगा नॉलेज कॉन्कर्स बैरियर्स तो ये जो फिजिकल रुकावटें आती हैं वो तो सिर्फ आईसाइट है हैवान में और इंसान में कोई फर्क नहीं है इस डोमेन के अंदर बिल्ली हमसे बेहतर देखती है हाउएवर व्हेन इट कम्स टू माइंड साइट आपने देखा होगा कि व्हेन यू कैन सी व्हाट अदर्स कैन नॉट दैट्स व्हाट मेक्स यू यूनिक दैट्स व्हाट मेक्स यू ब्यूटीफुल अब प्रोबेबिलिटी अब मैं आपको एक मिसाल देता हूं एक बंदे को आम दिया और उससे पूछा कितने आम हैं उसने कहा एक है मैंने कहा यार ये तो कोई भी खोता कह सकता है कि एक है अब तुम अपनी विजन का इस्तेमाल करो और 50 साल की सोच बना के बताओ अब कितने आम नजर आ रहे हैं अब वो थोड़ा सोच के कहता है सर इसमें तो अनगिनत आम है मैंने कहा कैसे उसने कहा मैं ये आम खाऊंगा मैं बीज बोऊंगा बीज आबियारी करूंगा अगर अल्लाह ने चाहा तो वो बीज फल दरख्त बनेगा उसमें आम आएंगे फिर उन आम के बीज को मैं बोऊंगा तो यू नो हाउ विजन कैन बी activated when we use basirat वो कहते हैं pity the man who is blind in the mind but can see pity the man who is blind in the mind but can see if you have vision you are not blind in the mind तो आपने देखा होगा बहुत से लोग हैं जो आंखों से नहीं देख सकते लेकिन दिमाग से वो कायनात को फाश कर देते हैं और अल्लाह ताला ने इतनी ताकत दी है इस ब्रेन के अंदर कि जब तक ये जिंदा है कोई और आज़ा चले ना चले जब तक ये फंक्शन कर रहा है यू आर ह्यूमन यू कैन डू थिंग्स बाकी अगर यहां से हम फारिग हो गए तो कुछ भी नहीं है एंड ऑल इन्वेंशंस never have existed before they हैपेंड हियर then they came out. Apple जो इदारा है, नेस्ले जो इदारा है, Amazon जो इदारा है, ये सारे इदारे यहाँ थे, सिर्फ एक बंदे की खोपड़ी में थे, और आज आप देखें कि किस सतह पे वो काम कर रहे हैं और कितनी बड़ी उनकी कंट्रीब्यूशन है। व्हाट्सएप हो गया, जूम हो गया, स्ट्रीम यार्ड हो गई, ये सब क्या है? ये सब इस दौर की टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं, एंड दे केम आउट ऑफ आवर कैपेसिटी टू इमेजिन। एंड आई विल क्लोज विद दिस इफ यू अलाउ मी, खुर्रम। वो आइंस्टाइन ने कहा, आवर पावर टू इमेजिन इज फार ग्रेटर देन द नॉलेज वी हैव। नॉलेज जस्ट गिव्स अस कि हम यहाँ तक कैसे पहुंचे। Imagination takes us to new heights, and if we use that, और यही हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम में एक बड़ी कमी है कि we don't। और स्टार्टअप्स में मैं देख ही रहा हूँ माशाल्लाह कि जितने यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स मैदान में उतर रहे हैं कम हैं, जितने आए उतना अच्छा है। और ये प्राइवेट पब्लिक पार्टनरशिप और इग्नाइट के जो एफर्ट है, यूसुफ हुसैन साहब की जो कार्रवाइयाँ हैं, और आप जैसे लोग जो काम कर रहे हैं इकोसिस्टम में, इन्वेस्टर्स को स्टार्टअप से मिला रहे हैं, ये आहिस्ता आहिस्ता एक चीज बढ़ रही है। विजन से ये और आगे जाएगी, और धुन कितनी क्यों ना हो, इस धुन को हम फाश करके उस पार पहुंचेंगे इंशाल्लाह। आई एम कन्विंस्ड दैट कन्फ्रंटिंग टफ रियलिटीज में वो शेर फिट होता है, तुम दिए बादे मुखालिफ से ना घबरा ए औकाब, ये तो चलती हैं तुझे ऊंचा उड़ाने के लिए। तो ये आजकल इतनी तेजी से चल रही हैं कि हम बहुत ऊंचा उड़ सकते हैं अगर सिर्फ इसका इस्तेमाल कर लें। अल्लाह हमारा निगहबान है, वो हमारा राज़िक है, कुछ नहीं होने वाला, so long as we have faith and we want to serve. And in service do we not only see development of this country and the economy, but also prosperity for the people who live in this country. I am so honored that Engineer Farhan, Khurram, aap, और आपकी ज़ैनब फातिमा and your team, mashallah, have been very, very supportive. They've kept me posted throughout, and that I had the occasion to speak.
Kamran,
I hope I lived up to your expectations.
We are honored, so much honored, and I mean, wish we would have a lot more opportunities from you to actually learn from you. But inshallah, next time, I think I have to do a session with you. Basically, what happened?
It'll be my pleasure.
I've been so overwhelmed with because of the conference and planning and everything.
I know it's not easy. It's not easy. But बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपको, आप कामयाबी मिले जी। कल कॉन्फ्रेंस ये आज के 12 बजे तक चलेगी
जी। आज 12 बजे हमारी अभी इन्वेस्टर पैनल डिस्कशन है, जिसके अंदर जो रिस्टोरिंग इन्वेस्टर्स कॉन्फिडेंस इन पाकिस्तान, so that's going to happen for hour and a half, और फिर कल सारा दिन है between 2 p.m. to 12 a.m. So
2 p.m. to 12 a.m.
So every day is at 10 hours, or starting from Sydney all the way to Valley. Can you imagine how many timelines?
So I wish you all the best and your team a lot of success. You're doing a great job, and I just feel very humbled that I got the opportunity to be part of such a great event. Thank you. Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
So guys, that was Kamran Rizvi. It's always been a pleasure to actually talk to him. He actually brings in this perspective which we usually don't think sometime. And now is that discussion we were having just a little while ago, and inshallah we're going to be having. So I have some great people with me. Amjad Bhai, Nasir Bhai, Jehangir, then Haroon Dosani, I have Mirza Ali, and then I have many people. So I can't even take them in one screen, so I'm going to be taking them one by one. I have Asif Dada as well as Amjad Mahmood. So we were discussing a little while ago basically what the discussion we had. Urdu English mix चलेगी, लेकिन ये कि कोशिश ये है कि आप लोग समझ पाएं, तो इसलिए कोशिश करेंगे कि उर्दू के अंदर ज़्यादा डिस्कशन हो, ख़ासतौर पर स्टार्टअप्स के लिए, कि वो क्या वजूहात हैं जिनकी वजह से अल्टीमेटली हम थोड़ा सा रिलक्टेंट फील करते हैं। जो बाहर के आपके ओवरसीज़ पाकिस्तानीज़ हैं या इन्वेस्टर्स हैं, वो क्यों ज़्यादा फील करते हैं कि आपको हम क्यों नहीं इन्वेस्ट कर पाते, या हमारे क्या मसले मसाइल हैं जिनकी वजह से हमें उनको देखना है कि हम आपको फिल कर सकते हैं। तो सबसे पहले मैं एक्सपीरियंस के पे जाने के बजाय अभी जो रीसेंट एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है उसके ऊपर जाता हूँ कि क्योंकि आफ्टर 30 years ऑलमोस्ट अमजद भाई एक्चुअली ट्रैवल टू पाकिस्तान And then I was able to, alhamdulillah, convince him कि यार just come and have a look at least and then decide what's going to happen. तो पहले जरा अमजद भाई से पूछते हैं कि यार पिछला recent experience है 2-3 महीने का, तो क्या बाज़ दफ़ा गाली शाली भी निकाल ही देते हैं बहुत ज़्यादा कि यार ये क्या तुम लोग क्या कर रहे हो, फूल के लोग हो, लेकिन ये कि he's such a jolly person. So अमजद भाई कैसा रहा? Just let us know the experience.
I just keep blowing smoke your way, but it's not true. But I have to give you credit, and I have to say that after 33 years, I decided to go to Pakistan on your insistence and persistence. When the timing is right and when the opportunity came, you were very convincing, and I have to thank you for that. जब मैं पाकिस्तान गया October last year में, and I was very skeptical. मैं एयरपोर्ट पे था कि मुझे कस्टम वाले पकड़ लेंगे, तंग करेंगे, रिश्वत लेंगे. Actually, it was such a streamlined process. Nothing happened. Within 30 minutes, I was literally out of the customs. और मेरा सामान एक साइड पे पड़ा हुआ था. I just picked it up and I left. After that, it was a very hectic session. We had, presentations and all that. Contrary to my age-old belief, because I totally disconnected from Pakistan for the longest. And contrary to my disbelief, I thought there is going to be a lot of jet lag, जिसे हम कह सकते हैं, time lag between when I was there and after 33 years. पता नहीं क्या होगा. Nothing of the sort. I actually felt extremely comfortable in Pakistan. And just that, education system, there were challenges there. उनकी मैं बच्चों की presentations पे, I was a judge with other, some of you guys probably were there. And, one thing I believe is जो हमने आज भी discuss की थी, शफात ने, अमजद ने, महमूद ने, another of Jehangir ने, we were in the morning session also, is basically there's a tremendous disconnect between reality and academics. जब मेरे बेटे ने बैचलर्स की, मैंने कहा ये किताबें पढ़ दो, अब दोबारा तुम जिंदगी में इन्हें यूज नहीं करोगे. You need to be a little more creative, and whatever you teach you in school is conformity. It's necessary to learn, but it is not a condition for a lot of success in life now. So anyway, hindsight is it was a good experience. I actually invested in Pakistan. I brought my atmospheric water generators in Pakistan, planned to manufacture them in Pakistan. हम लोग दिसंबर में गए, मेरे साथ मेरे अंग्रेज partners भी थे. And they all did very well. Actually, a lot of good reports are coming from IMF and world organizations, UNICEF and all that. There are a lot of good reports coming about Pakistan. So last time at December or January में जब पाकिस्तान में था, one of my friends, his name is Philip Gudiv. He's the chairman of Integral Wealth, second largest investment bank in Canada, brokerage firm. He lives in Tampa. He approached me while I was in Pakistan through an email, and he said he's very interested in investing in high-rise buildings in Pakistan and on the corporate level, not on infrastructure. So that was very encouraging for me because he's very anal by nature. He has bought and sold banks and everything. So to make a long story short, opportunity to hai bahut. You have to be extremely careful because मैं जो सुबह से I will, मैं जो हम सुबह से last 2 दिन से हम लोग देख रहे हैं, all we have experience of movements, but are they actual businesses? All we are seeing is hype. जैसे जहांगीर ने कहा था, वो गूगल में देख रहे हैं, किताबें पढ़ लेते हैं, they are all trying to follow in those footsteps, which there's nothing wrong. To me, most of the pitches that we have heard, except for a few, there were movements. There was nothing genuine there, no scalability, कोई concept नहीं, कोई guidance नहीं. वही शफात और हम लोग भी पहले भी बात कर रहे थे कि they need mentorship, they need somebody to hold their hand. और जब Mirza Ali offered to help one of them, he was pushing him back. He became defensive, that guy. I said, you finally got an opportunity to add value to your company. Here are Jehangir and Mirza are offering you to be your mentors and just putting your name there. 90%, 90% of my chances of investing in their business is if Mirza or Jehangir were on the board and holding their hand. So that is the kind of it's a mindset that people have, and I think so they have to be groomed, and I think so it's a very difficult thing. Just in a business, if I have to educate somebody, why would I invest in your business? Because that's the most expensive part of it. I believe the challenge in Pakistan is the mindset of the people that we are talking to. Out of 3 days of pitches that I've heard, today that gentleman with the cellular repair was very good. And that lady from waste management, Hasina was her name, in Peshawar, she did a good job. She had answers one, two, three. If you can't explain your business within 2 minutes, we are wasting our times. I lose interest. I'm not a smart guy. I can't wait to hear a 50, 40-minute speech and spiel. You don't need a PowerPoint presentation. Stories by themselves.
Right.
Others, hypothetical illustrations, numbers, they're no guarantee for future success.
Thanks, Amjad bhai. I'm just going to come back, but the one person I want to talk to in detail, Haroon bhai, if you could tell us in next 5 minutes the summary of your last 3 years, because you have seen it. You were there in 2018. Then we traveled many times. Then you actually listened to 300 startup pitches, and you also listened to 100 pitches in 2018 also. So you have this perspective through which you can actually compare that if the change is there, or they're just like is falling on the deaf ears. So basically, just give us perspective. Your mic is mute, by the way. Haroon bhai, can you hear us? It's your control. You have to actually unmute it. I can't do that for you.
Can you hear me now?
It's unmuted, yeah. Did you hear the question, by the way?
Yeah. I did hear that. So here's what I will put together. The way I started in 2017, and prior to 2017, I was going back and forth in Pakistan, trying to find an opportunity. And then I come across, the Jumpstart Pakistan and Live Pakistan. So be honest with you, comparing to the pitches that I heard in 2018 and what I heard today, there's not much migration to the professionalism or preparation. We still have this kind of preparation issue. They're basically trying to copy and paste some of the Western ideas in terms of the financial model, in terms of the business model, in terms of profitability, and sometimes they don't even know how to ask for the money. So I think that some of the garbage is traditional, but a lot of that is just a copy paste mentality. So now, as an investor, where I see myself, that who will cross this bridge to bring them to this level where we start to see and feel comfortable to invest the money. I think it's partially, if we are very sincere, then maybe we need to put a little extra effort, and I want personally, I want to willing to do that. What it is that let's say, for example, you pick some of those pitches this time we heard. Some of them were completely fraud, which was the last one, and some of them, they were very promising. Now the promising one are probably they need the dose of reality, and we all can share. We all can hammer some tangible out of those thin air. I was not willing to do that till the 2019 conference and those 160 pitches that I went through. But now I want to do that because there is a real opportunity. And especially, I want to say this, in my investment experience, all I did investment was based on supply and demand gaps and capitalize on it. Somebody's idea was part of my money, and then we capitalize on it. First time in my investment history, I see that the gap is not based on supply and demand. The gap is based on the macro realities. The macroeconomic realities change because of the pandemic. And I think it applied to very strongly in Pakistan market too, where our pandemic and consequently the economical disaster has shuffled the deck. We have a completely, the experienced companies have the same playing field, as what we have for the startups or the SMEs. So what's happening is that there is a customer new loyalties. Johnson & Johnson need the same loyalty again that the ABC company in Pakistan now. I think that playing field that is created by the pandemic and the ongoing and the new realities, I think that has created a lot of opportunities for startup in the United States, in the UK, and European and all other countries, and also in Pakistan. Now, where I see the gap in Pakistan is there will be a kind of shakeup in SMEs. And SMEs, what I mean by is that those companies, they've been traditionally run by their parents. The new generation is not taking over, or there is a lag, probably learning curve that they are refusing to adopt. I think there will be some failure that would need an opportunity, and an investor like us can jump on it in terms of the, probably in shape of a pool, and we can bring our expertise, our skill set, and also our money to take it to the next level that they never were there before. Now, last item, that the one of the biggest opportunity that is created is in the disruption in the supply chain. There will be no one China, there will be 20,000 China, and some of those Chinas will be in Pakistan. So what I see is that if we, as a platform, create some probably, because it's going to be localized, we will be probably replacing a lot of globalization to the localization, and that shuffle, post shuffle thing would create a lot of opportunity. There will be some opportunities in terms of the untraditional manufacturing, where it's only one machine, 20 employees, and then this is your startup. I think we are too much focusing on 3% of the IT sector of Pakistan and spending too much time on it. And there is you can get a unicorn out of it. But I see the real opportunity post-COVID is in the light manufacturing, is bringing those things 1960s back. And actually, this is the need after the COVID. And the Jumpstart Pakistan investor can play a huge role in this revitalization of the fourth generation of industrialization in Pakistan. We missed the third one. We missed almost the second one. I think this is the time. So if we can bring and strike a balance between the technology of today and the work ethics of yesterday, and bring those things with our Western experience and skill set that we have it, I think we have a lot to offer, and in the process we can make a lot of money. This is what I think where I am.
I think it was a good summary, Haroon bhai, and I think because आपने देखा ना कि 2018 से लेकर पिचेस को देखा सारा कुछ, मेरी भी यही ओपिनियन है कि बहुत ज़्यादा तब्दीली नहीं आई, लेकिन ये कि है कुछ ना कुछ बेहतरी है. So coming to Nasir bhai, I mean, you have spent a lot of time, like during the lift, interacting with, going into the villages, and then interacting with all sorts of people. क्या लगा? मतलब, I mean, after a long time, you spent a lot of time in Pakistan. I mean, we all came back, but you stayed there for like a few more weeks. So, how was your experience? Sorry, your mic is mute. Let me see if I think you have to unmute.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Khurram, for having me here. You are so right. I always, आप हमेशा लोगों से सुनते हैं कि पाकिस्तान ऐसा है, पाकिस्तान वैसा है. तो मैंने कहा कि I'm going to go and spend time and discover for myself कि what is real Pakistan. And in fact, this was a very unique trip. Even though I went on your invitation and you were kind of very convincing for me to go there, I spent 3 weeks without letting my friends and family know I was in Pakistan, because I just wanted to discover and meet regular people in Pakistan and make my own opinion. So in short, I would say that Pakistan is an amazing place. It offers amazing opportunities, and it's kind of a open frontier for a lot of, you can call it businesses, lot of, it's kind of an open field. You can just start things from scratch. Some of the best experiences I have, in fact, I was able to experience the top echelons of Pakistan society. I met the people at the highest levels. I went to the coolest places, And then I went to villages and spent time with just ordinary people, how they live. I went to I spent a day with a teacher in a village, spent a time with a cook and his family in a village, and then you're in Islamabad again in all the high echelons. So mujhe, I how to put it in a nice way, जब मैं नीचे लोगों को मिलता था तो I will get inspired by their energy, their will to succeed, their they want to do something, and so there's so much raw energy in youth, and but they lack direction. They need they're looking for कि हमें कुछ बताएं, हमें कोई रास्ता दिखाएं, and they're, I mean, that raw energy could be converted into so much good. And then when you come and talk to the people at the highest level and you sit with them, and you get a lot of feeling of a lot of stagnation, and not a lot of fresh ideas, and they're kind of happy with the status quo and the way things are going, because I think maybe that works for them. So Pakistan's potential is in the youth. Therefore, I actually spent some time with schools and visited number of private schools, number of government schools in remote areas. Then I spent some time in a number of universities, meeting young kids who are kind of uh, they're again full of energy. They want to make things happen, but the education that they're learning, or your 4 years they're spending in college with a lot of money from their parents, they're not getting the skill set which has any connection with the reality. So the uh, we went to look for potential businesses to invest in, but and many people we met, but a lot of them, once they were a little bit friendly with you, whether it was the person themselves or some guy who would say, yeah, mere bete ko ya beti ko job dilwa do, ya mujhe ko job dilwa do. So the concept is that, okay, I've spent 4 years in college, I spent so much money, now I need a job to sit on a desk and do something. I mean, just sign some file or something. Even engineers or people coming from technical fields are not willing to do something with their hands. As engineers, we're supposed to build products, we're supposed to design products, we're supposed to solve problems. Concept ये है कि अब हमें कोई नौकरी दे दे. So coming to the जो potential है, potential ये है कि ये जो आपने through Lift Pakistan, even जो startups का culture शुरू किया है, even though the quality of startups is not that good at the moment, but some of them have good ideas, or at least they're learning the game. I think this is a great contribution, because we can lift Pakistan and we can create jobs, and we by empowering people, and how we can do that is by hey, rather than you look for a 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupee per month job, why don't you create this little business, little entity which can give you more money than that, plus you have some job security, plus you can be hiring more people to help you in your business, but then you're creating jobs. So rather than be fighting for that small number of jobs which are already available, and there are many applicants for them and all that stuff, the job creation will come from small businesses, and that's where I see a lot of potential. And I've been actually because of the COVID situation, we couldn't go back. Otherwise, after last year's presentations, my idea was that I'll go back and at least help X number of small businesses started, because I at least am helping that person who's starting get a good job, and then he can employ some people. So overall, जो है ना, खुरम पाकिस्तान में जो potential है to do good is so much, but coming from the investor issues and problems. For example, मैंने बड़ा अच्छा point आपको बताया कि भी potential है, ये है, and then your question would be कि आपने क्या invest किया, कितना invest किया, कहाँ invest किया. Unfortunately, since November till now, have not been able to find anything, even though very eagerly looking to invest in something, even willing to overlook some of the problems, or or then you're willing to not scrutinize the business plan in a very thorough way. कि चलो शुरू तो करो ना कुछ, even but it's really hard to find something, and part of the reason is that US investors has a little bit more, and now I'm kind of changing the topic into like, let's say investing into an existing business in Pakistan. The other day somebody brought me that this is a company, this is a great company, they're doing great things, they need some more money to expand, whatever, right? Issue jo usme aa jata hai, the US company, I don't know about the rest of the world and how other countries are operating, but you have to be really very open. Your accounting system, your adherence to legal issues has to be very, very clear cut. You cannot be doing things a little bit in the gray area and thinking that it's okay. It's one thing to invest money and maybe you lose the money, right? But it's another thing that you invest money and then get entangled into some legal issue or some illegal issue. So that's one of the serious considerations for a US company. It's fairly common for existing businesses in Pakistan to have the double books. I mean, how can we invest in a company which doesn't even maintain a clean set of books, even though they're coming from... And one other thing जो मैं आपसे share करूँगा, almost every hardware...
I'll come to you because we're going to have in the next round and then we're going to have like open discussion as well. So
I need to just make one comment. और वो ये है कि my expertise is in hardware, anything to, manufacturing, distribution, all that stuff. So I can tell you this that almost every hardware company in Pakistan जो कि बाहर से hardware import करती है is not following the legal process. That मैं इसको mildly कह देता हूँ आपको in nice way. So anybody who's importing any kind of product in Pakistan, hardware, electronics, they are using some kind of a method which is not the kosher legal method of doing business.
So that's what we are trying to establish. That, I mean, whatever the processes. And I think one more question we can actually hear Amjad Mahmood, and then see that. I mean, you have like 3-4 different examples of people like who have actually interacted with Pakistan recently, and from anywhere between 1 to 3 years they have actually interacted with. So I want to get to some point where what is actually stopping people to kind of invest in Pakistan and engage with the startups or engage with the SMEs, and that's the objective. I'm just going to actually bring in Amjad bhai. So just to share the story, current recent experience with you getting involved, and then obviously even having a facility by yourself. So just share with us, please.
Okay, so I, along with many of the other investors, went to Pakistan after 17 years, after discussions with Khurram bhai and Amjad bhai. Since the last Lift Pakistan event, I'm now invested to around £2.5 million into Pakistan on 3 ventures. So I've actually made the move into investing in Pakistan, and we currently employ around 90 people in between Lahore and Islamabad. So I'm invested in there, but the difficulty I'm finding is I think many of the people that are pitching businesses to us have got to understand that they've got to make it easier for us to want to invest in them. We want to invest. That's why we're all on this platform. You've got an active ear listening to your pitches, but make the whole process easier and the opportunity easier for us to invest in.
So, I mean, ultimately, when we actually look at the whole scenario, I mean, one thing consistently I see is that probably the marketplace doesn't have the good products, probably, and that's what it comes down to.
Talent hai Pakistan mein. We wouldn't be rushing to Pakistan unless there was talent there. But talent is nothing on its own. They have to create an opportunity. They have to create a viable business plan. And they have to look at us probably as angel investors rather than institutional investors. So the way the process of pitching to us is designed by them has got to look at us in a very, very different manner. We're here to support Pakistan. Otherwise, we're all businessmen in international countries. We don't need to rush to Pakistan. We want to do it. So if you've got that active mindset, you've got a proactive investor, then help yourselves and make the opportunity and the product and you as an individual or as a group of individuals a more viable prospect for us to invest in.
So thank you, Amjad bhai. So definitely here. Another example is Asif bhai. Asif, Dada, you're saying that you have actually wasted a lot of money by investing in different ventures. Tell us a few examples.
Well, before I get into these examples, I'll go back to history when my great-grandfather was approached by Muhammad Ali Jinnah to move to Pakistan in 1940, even before Pakistan was created, to help establish the economic structures of Pakistan. And he eventually did move in 1948 and did a lot of business in Pakistan, established one of the companies were Berger Paint, there were like cement companies. He had a startup 100 years ago by the name of Dalda Ghee, which eventually with collaboration of Liver Brothers became Dalda Ghee. So, he's done a lot of things. I want to do the same tradition, and without looking at any personal benefit of mine, I want to go participate in Pakistan's economy. I don't have the resources which my great-grandfather had at that time 100 years ago, but I have the will and I have the time and I have a lot of experiences. I have lost a lot of money too investing in certain projects. One of my investment is in Chicago Trump Towers, where I've lost a lot of money and now bleeding because I have to fund my investment because the hotel is sitting empty. Also, I have invested in some other ventures which were not very successful. But Alhamdulillah, this experience has given me a lot of experience where I can advise other people what to do and what not to do. I've made some good investments also, but most of my ventures failed, and I learned a lot from my ventures, and I'm willing to take chances too. So I'm in conversation with a couple of startups right now, and I'm willing to invest. Just bring me a good idea. I think Pakistan has a lot of talents, All we need to do is spend our time. People who have been successful, they need to go over there, like brother Nasir did. I'm willing to go spend 2 to 3 months in Pakistan, and also planning to establish an office over there in Lahore, Islamabad, or Karachi. I'm in conversation with ARY, is a business group in Pakistan, and I've met their leadership and thinking about doing some kind of joint alliance with them too. So I'm in conversation with Pakistani companies. I want to get involved. I have time because I'm partially retired over here, and I have a lot of experience from my past experiences. And I believe in the talent of Pakistan. People and students over there, they just need some time so that we can help them harness their talents. They really don't know how to present themselves. There are always opportunities out there. My grandfather used to say that आदमी बुढ़ा हो जाता है लेकिन business हमेशा जवान रहता है. So there are always opportunities. There are innovative opportunities. There are transformative opportunities. You can get into something which someone is already doing, and value add to it, or come up with new and unique ideas.
Right.
But you need to dream it and then make it happen, and it can happen if you really work hard towards it.
No, it's
so
great.
These are my comments.
It's great, and we're going to be listening to you like a lot more often because we're going to be actually streamlining this whole process. So, inshallah, we'll have a lot more stories to build. So, before I go to Pakistan to get the perspective from Jehangir and Shafaat, so just take Mirza Ali quick comment on how he's been dealing with all those, the youth, and since you work in the city, it's an entirely different experience because you are on daily basis like dealing with the corporate sector. Obviously during the COVID, you haven't been going to Manhattan, obviously, but how you see them, I mean, their mentality, how it works, and क्या सोचते हैं, मतलब जब आप उनको बता रहे होते हैं कि भाई ये करो, मैं भी पैसा लगा दूंगा तुम्हें अगर पैसा चाहिए, लेकिन क्या क्या दिमाग कहाँ पे होता है?
जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। सबसे पहले सबको बहुत-बहुत
यार
सलाम। और दूसरी बात,
हमारी आवाज,
कैन यू हियर मी? आवाज आ रही है? कैन यू हियर मी? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Khurram, basically, we have our youth have a lot of potential. I always tell them that empty pockets never held anyone back. Only empty mind and empty hearts can always do that. I go by that. So I truly believe that our youth is 65% of our population. Those are our human intellectual capital. तो किसी भी मुल्क की जो इकोनॉमी है बेसिकली 3 पिलर पे खड़ी होती है: नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज, कैपिटल रिसोर्सेज, और भी वेरिएबल्स होते हैं, और ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज, राइट? सो दे आर आवर फ्यूल. उनको अगर स्किल्स और कैपेबिलिटीज और एक्सपर्टीज हम लोग सिखा देंगे और फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड की विजडम उनको दे देंगे और यहाँ के साथ उनके कारोबार करना सिखा देंगे, विच इज द सोल पर्पस ऑफ जंपस्टार्ट मूवमेंट. It's a movement that, mashallah, you started, where we are giving them access to the global markets, international markets, where we are their liaison. We are, representing them over here, and we are giving them access to the funding. And then we are giving them, of course, the skills and capabilities and expertise and all those verticals that you have lined up. We are basically trying to add some value there. The main thing that I see, entrepreneurship is like, I truly believe, I could be wrong, and everyone has freedom and liberty to differ with me. But I think entrepreneurship is something that can be taught. I always believe that entrepreneurship is more like an engine, and that engine can be, like go toward like a, charitable cause. It becomes like, it makes you become like a Mother Teresa or Abdustari Idi. When you add that engine to money making and innovation, then you like, you create wealth, and at the same time you add value to the society. You solve the problem. I always tell them the world's biggest problems are world's biggest business opportunities. The barrier, the challenge that I see in our youth is their mindset. Actually, I always tell them that how you think, that actually controls everything. Two types of mindset they have. They have more like a fixed mindset. They have a stagnant mindset. वो हम लोग कहते हैं scarcity mindset. So I basically have to overcome and make them become like come into growth mentality and abundance mentality. That is the first and foremost thing. Second thing, I tell them that, listen, world's biggest problems are world's biggest business opportunities. You are one click away from 7.8 billion people, out of which like almost half the world is already part of the online global conversation. So जब उनकी mentality के आप horizon बड़ा करते हैं, जब आप उनको बड़ा landscape, बड़ा canvas दिखाते हैं, उसके बाद, then they realize that, okay, now we have to begin with end in mind. We have to find those unmet needs, and we have to come up with a solution. And then like उनका शेर खून इसी बात पे बढ़ जाता है कि कोई फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर है, कोई फॉरेन पाकिस्तानी है, जिसकी मैं कोई इतनी ज्यादा अचीवमेंट तो नहीं कहूंगा, बट एडमिटिंगली आई हैव नेवर इन्वेस्टेड इन पाकिस्तानी स्टार्टअप्स, बट आई हैव more interaction perhaps than anybody here, where I have taken a young man with no business skills and capabilities, and then I put them into business, and now they are like making sales and online space and anything that I can add value under the umbrella of Jumpstart. तो आपने पूछा था कि वो सोचते किस तरह, तो इस तरह वो सोचते हैं, थोड़ी सी लिमिटेड है. और most of the entrepreneurs that I see in Pakistan, they become entrepreneur, money making entrepreneur out of compulsion more than out of choice. कि हमें पैसे चाहिए, उनको समझ नहीं आती. First of all, they are clueless. Our kudos goes to our the good job of our academia, which doesn't teach them. And at the same time, if you're doing like a ICOM or BCom and all those things, and you're like doing MBAs and everything, you don't know how to, because all those professors that are teaching them, they come up with a bookish knowledge. They are book smart, but the real life is like when they put you on a street, when you become street smart, that's where the actual challenge is. जो वो कहते हैं ना कि दाल और रोटी का भाव आपको तब समझ आता है जब आपको स्ट्रीट पे फेंका जाता है. तो बेसिकली those are the challenges. Now जो आज का हमारी डिस्कशन का टॉपिक है वो ये है कि how would they secure investors confidence to invest back in Pakistan. So private equity के एंगल से Pakistan is a hotbed for investment. In my opinion, there is a huge upside, there is a huge potential, but part of it has to do with our like we have
Ali, Ali, I'm going to come back to you on this point because that's the point we're going to be discussing with everyone. So we're going to have like a very detailed conversation on how we actually going to go there and what's going to be the actual vehicle on which we have to actually start investing in Pakistan. I mean, yes, some of the startups we already, I mean, interacting with. I've been doing that like for almost past 5 years. But that is like, small token money that we just like say, okay, तो यार $5,000 चाहिए, $10,000 चाहिए, चलो यार इसको लगा दो, उनके महीने का salary bill दे दो, and gradually grow with them. What I'm talking about is really making a significant change, like pulling in the money of like, let's say $10 million and say, okay, here you go. We're going to actually invest this money in 50 startups. We're going to carefully choose them and we're going to scale them to like 20x or 50x. And collectively, we're going to actually, around the globe, we're going to do that. So we're going to discuss that. But before we do that, I have like two people who have to actually get the very detailed input. One is from Jehangir bhai. I think you go before because, I mean, your company is 92 Capital. So, I mean, obviously you are into investing business and everything. And what's been actually have been your experience for this whole scenario?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think you're right in saying about the sectors. मेरा ये था कि 2015 में when I moved back from Geneva to Pakistan, so I left banking and the idea was to bring in whatever I saved up and go into healthcare at that time and do my own startups and get into small businesses. The journey was smooth. Uske baad, there were hiccups. Of course, we couldn't scale at that time that we were thinking. We were here before Uber and Careem entered Pakistan. So the idea of having a app-based platform for the healthcare sector didn't work at that time. So we had to change our model and we went into a different direction and we ran that for 2 years. But coming to 92 Capital, the whole reason for forming it last year was exactly I've gone through the grind of setting up businesses, running businesses. I'm locally here in Pakistan with the obviously overseas exposure. So how can I contribute my learnings and experience back to the startup or small business community? Because मेरे अंदाजे से ये सेक्टर जो है they generate a lot of employment. आप घर से निकल के जब ऑफिस जाते हैं तो रास्ते में जितनी दुकानें, जितनी आपको रेस्टोरेंट, जितनी businesses देखते हैं, they're all small businesses who employ majority of the people. But formally इनको address नहीं किया गया है. Even COVID situation में भी जब स्टेट बैंक की यहाँ policies आई with regards to payroll financing for small businesses, with regards to other incentives that they gave, small businesses still couldn't secure. यहाँ हमारे NBFIs नहीं है, DFIs का रोल बड़ा limited है कि आपके sector specific lending institutions नहीं है जिस तरह बाहर के मुल्कों में होते हैं जो कि research based हों कि they understand the business model, they understand the companies and they lend to them according to their needs. हमारे यहाँ banking sector is very vanilla, उसके अंदर obviously everybody's looked at it from a standard जिस तरह उसके mirror के through और उसकी तरह उनको judge किया जाता है, तो small businesses also are left out of that space. तो 2-3 चीजें जो मैंने realize की थी कि जी ठीक है, there are 3 things which I need to address. One was access to capital. So whatever money I have and partly मेरे साथ जो मेरे ex-colleagues or my network of investors overseas Pakistanis का उनके पैसे के through we come in and do access to capital for these businesses. Second was business transformation and scalability coaching कि उनको बताया जाए कि आपने अपनी focus direction shift कैसे करना है. Last अभी जब हम बैठे हुए थे तो ये discussion हुई थी शाम में कि लोग एक idea को पकड़ते हैं और उसके पीछे चलना शुरू होते हैं. They're very reluctant to revisit their original idea and change according to the market. We've also seen in the startup pitches that nobody still adjusted to the COVID environment. तो पॉइंट दूसरा वहाँ आ जाता है और तीसरी चीज जो हम करते हैं वो चैनल पार्टनरशिप्स करते हैं जिसमें हम वी अंडरस्टैंड कि स्टार्टअप्स हमें कंसल्टेंसी नहीं पे कर सकते. स्टार्टअप्स हमें जो है वो अगर वो पैसे भी नहीं चाह रहे या कुछ ऐसी भी स्टार्टअप्स या कंपनीज आती हैं जो ये कहती हैं कि जी हमें ना पैसे चाहिए ना हमें ये और चीज़ चाहिए, बट वी नीड हेल्प इन गेटिंग opening doors for us. We need help के जहाँ हमें access मिले to your network. So we become the channel partners and we push their company or their products or services for. तो उसमें तो जिस्ट यही है कि ये 3 इश्यूज मेरी नज़र में बड़े ज़रूरी थे कि जिसके अंदर आपका फंडिंग भी आ जाती है, उनकी कोचिंग भी आ जाती है और उनके साथ पार्टनर करके उनके साथ रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग हम करते हैं. तो उसमें वी डोंट इवन चार्ज अप फ्रंट कि भाई ठीक है, वी अंडरस्टैंड यू कांट पे अस. So ये 3 चीज़ों के थ्रू we are trying to address this problem here. But having said that, ये मैंने इसमें स्टार्टअप्स का मैं जो एक थोड़ा सा फीडबैक देना चाहूँगा वो यही है कि जी यहाँ पे माइंडसेट जो है वो एक जनरल बन गया है कि एवरीबडी कम्स आउट विद $1 million वैल्यूएशन. So honestly, I don't agree with that model. But sitting here, आप पहली बात तो यहाँ पाकिस्तानी मार्केट में अपनी प्रोडक्ट बेचोगे, आप ₹5 कमाओगे, आप डॉलर नहीं कमाओगे. तो आप मुझसे डॉलर वैल्यूएशन पे पहले बात ही क्यों कर, मतलब होनी नहीं चाहिए. दे शुड बी रुपी बेस्ड वैल्यूएशंस फर्स्टली. Secondly, you need to also understand the difference between calling yourself a startup or a small business, a new small business or a startup. If you're a tech-based company and you are dealing in that sort of area, so yes, you're a startup. But if you are a business, there's no harm calling yourself a small business. And just by having an app or a web platform doesn't make you a tech startup. So you need to define yourself exactly ताकि investor के point of view से it makes it very clear कि ये कंपनी है क्या. दूसरी चीज़ ये है कि जी एक्सपीरियंस हम देखते हैं कि जी लोगों का है क्या. अगर आपका एक्सपीरियंस उस सेक्टर में नहीं है and you are coming up with a very big valuation, so that creates मतलब I get put off. या तो आप बोलेंगे हाँ मेरे पास एक्सपीरियंस नहीं, मेरे पास आइडिया, आई नीड हेल्प एंड मैं इतने कोई पैसे भी नहीं मांग रहा, छोटे पैसे हैं और उसमें मुझे आगे काम करना है, तो यस दैट मेक्स सेंस एंड आई विल गो अहेड विद यू. But point is, with fresh out of college, you're going ahead with, let's say, $1 million or $5 million valuation based on an idea just because Uber or Kareem did it back in the day. So I don't buy that anymore. और उसके साथ और काफ़ी चीज़ें जो I think we can come up, we can discuss it on a later angle because I want to talk about the regulatory issues. I want to talk about the banking sector.
Exactly. Those points we're going to be discussing in the next round. But right now, I just wanted to actually finish the round because we have so much wealth of experience here, like among ourselves, because it's very different. You have like Amjad Tareen, it's like he traveled after 13 years to Pakistan. I mean, this is like it's a huge amount of time, like seriously. And all of a sudden, he's just like in 1 month, he traveled like in 3 months, he traveled like twice or thrice. And he was just like so worried, like when I was talking to him, like in terms of, because we arranged visa-free entry for the whole group, like about 7, 8, even the Korea guys, like they came, it was the very first time going there. So it was just like so much. And then on the other side, you have like Shafaat and yourself, who are just like right there and then dealing with all these issues. So we're gonna come back. But let me take Shafaat. I mean, he has got like very different kind of experience. So please go ahead.
First of all, Khurram and Jumpstart, Invest in, Live Pakistan, brilliant brands. The amount of effort you put in, the time that we've all taken, especially yourself, I mean, hats off to you. It's a great service to the country, a great service to the startup ecosystem. And I'm truly honored, privileged, and humbled to be part of this for the first time. I happened to start visiting Pakistan almost a year and a half ago. So 8 years straight, I never visited Pakistan. So I've been living in Dubai, and I moved there almost, more than 15 years ago, and been open to the international market since 1995. Now, with all this wealth of experience, when I visited Pakistan last year after 8 years of gap, I thought a lot of things would have changed with the new government, with new policies, and maybe, the mindset must have changed. Unfortunately, it was exactly the same how I left it. We are talking about the startup ecosystem in a country where still people are suffering from load shedding. Only 57 million smartphone users. Very few people who have actually got access to internet, and internet is still very expensive. So when we talk about business in such dynamics, it becomes a challenge on its own. So apart from the macro environmental factors which we must be dealing with, I will have my discussion in two folds. The first one is for the investors, and the second one is for the startup community or the entrepreneurs. Now, when it comes to investors, I myself, we have invested in a number of asset classes, all the way from real estate, hospitality, renewable energy, and the rest of it. Now, all of those sectors are essentially nose down, at least for the last 3 months. And we have two options as investors or as an investment firm. Option one, we start doing matam and say, we have lost money. Option number two, we make a smart investment into growing sectors. And one of them essentially is SME in developing countries and the startup ecosystem, which is tech. So we can somehow, balance off the losses that we're incurring somewhere else and try to create a more diversified portfolio. Now, this thing helps it, and this is perhaps my advice to investors as well, that right now is the best time to invest in any tech, startup, and that could be agri-tech, that could be, any tech, for example. Pakistan obviously is a good market. Now, so that goes for investors. Coming down to the participants or the entrepreneurs, yes, we can continue to blame academia, but academia honestly is the same. Becoming a successful entrepreneur doesn't really need a lot of academia. So we have a number of examples, and we all know those names were college dropouts. So what is it that differentiates? It is actually that our people here and the youth, unfortunately, is non-serious. 3 issues I've identified over and over again. Number one, lack of integrity. So the pitches are full of BS. This is one. The picture is different. The ground reality is different. We, as investors, we're looking for investable people, because remember, it's not only about your idea. When you're sharing your idea, we obviously understand and we have our own thinking to it, and we know, okay, we can, somehow mold it. So what we're looking for is a person who's flexible, who's adaptable, who's kind of, a growth mindset, and who has some certain qualities and the value that entrepreneur brings in to the business, whatever it is, technical, value, channel partnerships, or whatever. Yes, we bring our own value. The second issue that I've observed in this country is lack of professionalism. Now, this is what we have experienced in the last 3 days when it comes to the pitches. None of them are prepared, and none of them have actually put up a right pitch deck. I mean, how difficult it is to take a simple YouTube tutorial to understand what are the sections you need to cover. So this is second. The third thing, which I think our youth needs to work on, is exposure. Instead of watching, movies and doing whatever you guys do, it is time for you to be more aware of what is going around in the world. So you should know different race, you should know different sectors, and you should really think it through. And one of our problems is that I have mentored, and I've tried to mentor a couple of startups. The more we advise them, I don't know, there's this ego mindset that they are just not willing to move or shift from their core idea. I mean, they just become adamant into what they've initially thought. And this becomes a barrier of communication, of so many things. As much as we wish to invest, as much as we're willing to invest, and as much as I want to say that Pakistan is a great country, yes, there is potential, but the potential makes no sense if the right character and the right mindset is not there. And I think it's a mesh, it's a hybrid of government policies, the academia, even the corporate sector here, parenting, youth themselves and their mindset, and even the local investors in Pakistan. I mean, the local business owners in Pakistan are not investment savvy. They would rather buy 10 cars and put them on Uber, or they will probably get 20 plots and wait for them to have capital appreciation than to invest into a business. So while Jumpstart is reaching out to overseas investors, I think our penetration must be into local investors. Until and unless the local investment ecosystem does not prosper, we cannot go out to international VCs and tell them, okay, we have $1 billion industry, which is only from local investors, which has experienced growth in the last 2 years. And this is what makes it promising for international investors like us to come in. Just like Jehangir has access to international capital, so do we, and for all of us to sort of join hands and create that access and pitch these ideas abroad, this requires mentorship. Last statement is that we are not for free. you know. And if whether somebody wants to reach out to me or to any one of the panels, yes, we're happy to mentor you, but you need to give us the skin in the game. You know, if you are able to give skin in the game to an incubator who doesn't give you anything, I think we also deserve a skin in the game, and you should have us heavily involved, remembering that yes, we have an investment line, we have a capital line, we have channel partnerships, we can create your marketing, your branding, we can come up with your sales plan, we can give you access to capital, we can put you out there in Silicon Valley, we can put you in front of the FIs and private banks and even HNWIs, well, you know, high net worth individuals. We can do that. So you need to sort of believe in us. And last thing is, beware of the so-called thing. As much as we are here to do your due diligence, I also recommend startups to also do due diligence of the so-called investors out there in the market.
Okay, thanks, Shafaat bhai. It was great. I think we have some sort of like idea in terms of exactly what's happening in the ecosystem, but I have like a surprise guest with me. So she has an experience just unmatched. So we have Asha with us. She has heavily invested in Pakistan in the startups. Many startups she actually take all the way from Pakistan to Silicon Valley, and she's not of Pakistani origin. That's another thing. So for an Indian origin lady to come into Pakistan and invest in startups, that's going to be a really amazing perspective once she's going to share with us. So Asha, as you probably heard some of the conversation that we are actually the overseas Pakistanis are investing in, and they've been going there and they've been thinking and looking into some of the scenarios, and we've been sort of like complaining as well. What has been your experience? So please do share with us.
So, look, I am a VC first and angel first, who is primarily driven by the profit motive. My own interest in investing in any startup is profit and returns on investment, right? So it's not necessarily about simply kind of being a mentor and this and that. So I tell my startups from the get-go that they must never sort of mistake my interest in a startup as saying I just want to be a mentor. I really want at least 2x return on my investment, if not more. And I've very clearly mentioned this to my Pakistani startups also, that I want them to be to be answerable to the same standards as the ones I would apply in Silicon Valley. And I must say that some of the kind of entrepreneurs I've met in Pakistan are actually, first of all, their heart is in the right place. They really want to succeed. They really want to be able to be, to be able to actually answer again to standards that others, deploy outside. But you have to educate them. You do need to. I think one gentleman here on the panel mentioned the distinction between a startup and a small business. I think it's important for a startup to know that in an extremely early stage ecosystem like Pakistan or some parts of India where I'm from, that it's crucial that one might even consider profit sharing. So I think the usual venture capital model may not be the most optimal in an ecosystem which is not yet, or even in a market which is not.
I think we lost her voice. So, I mean, Aisha has got some, I mean, in terms of the experience, because she went there, she looked at the startup, she didn't think twice, and then she just simply, started investing. Because when she says that, I'm for profit, so that's, I think they need to hear. Sorry, we lost you there, Aisha.
So, Khurram, basically, I think it's really important that even revenue sharing is something that the startups must consider while the market is still very young. So, for example, here in the Valley, let's say if I invested in a company, and let's say if I had 10% stake in the company, in a mature ecosystem like Silicon Valley, I would say I'll wait for those 10 years for the startup to exit, right? Now, it may not exit, of course, but if it exits, then I'm willing to wait for those 10 years. In Pakistan and India, I actually think that it's crucial to do the revenue sharing model in the beginning, to even tell the startup that, look, if I'm putting $100,000 into your startup at the seed stage, as soon as you start making revenues, some portion of the revenues need to go back actually to the investor. I think that's a model that one might consider to remove or to lessen the risk a little bit, because otherwise it is risky. There is no doubt that it's risky, because these are very young markets. They are not yet developed. They're very young. And part of the reason that I keep schlepping all my founders in Pakistan onto an airplane and showing up and having them show up in Palo Alto, part of the reason I do that is because I really want them to know how the rest of the world is working outside and what kind of standards people are looking to outside. And it has done wonders, Khurram.
Asha, one thing, sorry, let me come in here, because when you actually said that I'm here for profit. So I mean, this is usually you hear from the VC, but when I see your actions, those are not exactly the actions you follow. You actually pamper them. You actually guide them. You say like, okay, here's the environment. I'm bringing you in. You're going to be spending whatever 6 weeks with me, and I'm going to be taking you around. No VC does that.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree that you couldn't listen. It's important first to come across as the bad cop. You want to be the bad cop. You don't want to be there coming in and saying, look, I'm just going to be, you don't want your startups to think you're babysitting them. Okay. So tell them from the get-go, the tough standards, tell them that, look, you need to make me money. I'm not here simply to help you. And, after that, whatever help you give them, I think it's a cherry on top. You are right, Khurram, that once I started dipping my toe in Pakistani startup area, what I realized is that it would benefit them greatly to be in the valley and really kind of interact, right? Like with Draper, with Draper University and the various people that you've met along with our own fellowship, Khurram. You have yourself been there as a mentor for my startups. You see how this whole thing rolls, which is, people meet a lot of Pakistani diaspora here, which is very nice. The startups that come here from Pakistan, they really interact and build independent relationships with Pakistani founders here who have done extremely well, like Osman Rashid, Hassan Rizvi, the Asim Abdullah of Commerce One, people like that. And they develop an independent relationship. Now, what that does is it's not just good for me. It's not just good for them, but it's good for me, right? It reduces my own risk, Khurram. You see, so as we go forward, I can pick up the phone and I can call Asim Abdullah and say, hey, are you in Karachi right now? Can you make that phone call to my startup in Karachi? And that's way more beneficial for me than the startup simply staying in Pakistan. And just like how I get my Indian startups to sooner or later open an office in the Bay Area, I am trying to get my Pakistani startups to start, especially if they're matured a little bit, to start thinking of the American market also. Why not?
So basically, Asha, I don't know what's your schedule like. It was just like a surprise joining in the session, and it was great to hear your perspective. It's just totally amazing, because we are looking from the perspective that Pakistani diaspora coming in, they have other, this heart is there that they want to actually help out Pakistan. This is the vehicle for doing this. But I mean, you obviously want to help, but I mean, you do not have the roots to Pakistan. I mean, obviously you're originally from India, but for you to actually come into Pakistan is actually give this perspective that yes, anybody can come into Pakistan and invest in startups. So please stick around. We're going to be, I mean, I don't know what's your schedule like, but we're going to be actually discussing for next half an hour or so. And the next round, I mean, we were going to actually discuss it about the actual, the regime itself. And I'm sure the India is pretty much the same. You talked about the babus and everything. So it's exactly the same over there. So the legal regime over there is not very, receiving or not welcoming in terms of actually sending over the investments. When you actually send over the $100,000 or like even $50,000, the red flag gets raised into the State Bank of Pakistan. So let me take Shafaat on this. So Shafaat, have you I mean, transferred over some money into the startups and you faced some problems actually investing in them legally?
Yeah, I mean, to begin with, I just opened our own branch office in Pakistan. One of the major problems that I faced was essentially recruitment, because it's the shortage of skill set or the kind of skill set that we probably require. Now, as much as recruitment is difficult, having an entrepreneur, investing in an entrepreneur becomes even more difficult. So this is where I would begin. In terms of our investments that we have parked in Pakistan, yes, it is around $1 million plus. And we have obviously distributed in a number of short, small businesses and more SMEs, a little bit of startup space as well. Because what I'm trying to do is the youngsters who come across to us, we need to paratroop our team into the business. I mean, there is no other way around. It is very difficult to find a startup, which Asha is trying to mention, that, you just literally give the money and they make the profit for you. I think whoever you invest with, you need to put your heart into it. You need to do a lot of hard work. You need to put your teams into it to manage it, to put the right structures, processes in place. The only benefit that that a lot of startups get if they engage with a company like us, or with a lot of other panelists as well, is that we already have good resources working for a group of companies, like a good CFO, a good CMO, a good head of sales, and we can use their brains because you become part of the group. So essentially, which is young startup cannot afford to pay for, you actually get all of that brain and that intellect and best practices for your startup, which actually offers you a 10x growth. Now, having said that, and the basic, the most, the biggest challenge that I've faced in Pakistani startups, number crunching. They're not good at numbers, and if they're good at numbers, they are very, very poor in marketing. Pakistan as a whole, as a country, be it the business owners, be it the SME sector, be it the startup space, our marketing is extremely poor, just to begin with. And one of the reasons I started off with my advertising agency here was not to make profit, but just to have my operational expenses covered. So maybe I could create a local brand that could essentially export, be it a startup which can bring in FDI, be it a local brand which can bring in FDI. So that's really the bottom line. I think marketing and number crunching, these are the two weakest spots in our Pakistan startup ecosystem.
I totally agree with
Amjad bhai, 1 second. I'm going to come to you, but let me take Amjad Mahmood bhai on. Amjad bhai, on that very specific question, what I asked was, the flowing in the money. And you recently have thrown in a lot of money into actually in Pakistan. So in terms of the investment, in terms of the actual, what channels did you use to actually, transfer over the money? Did you have any problem in actually investing in Pakistan legally? So can you describe to us what exactly happened? Sorry, I cannot.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so thankfully what we did from day one was we made sure we had the right lawyers on board who designed both the structure and the legal process for us to move the money over. However, from the UK, most of the banks will not allow us to send money to Pakistan. So we've now had to start banking with certain banks that allow the money to be transferred to Pakistan. But otherwise, we've had to use Dubai as a channel to move the money across. So there are some interbanking relationships that may need to be improved. And I think Pakistan's standing as a country where banks can risk moving money across to is improving, but we've still got plenty of space there to improve with. So overall, not a huge amount of problems, but we had to work to overcome the obstacles.
But that's because you hold the NICOP, because you hold the the Pakistani origin card. That's why it's easy? Or?
No, I don't think that even came into it. It was just that when we tried to move our investment from here, some of the banks just said we will not deal with any Pakistani banks, or we will not deal with money moving to Pakistan. So we had to change our banking system. But I don't think the Shnakhti card or CINC number or anything has really come into play at all.
Okay, so Asha, I want to hear from you, because every one of us can actually, transfer over move money over to Pakistan if you want to actually invest in. Did you have any trouble while you were investing in those startups? to transfer over the money? So,
yes, I did, Khurram. In the beginning, when I was sending, even small amounts like $10,000, if I was sending to banks in, let's say, Habib Bank, or I think there was another bank which was a Karachi. I think it was a local bank, a big bank, but a local bank. One advice I got from Pakistani angel friends like Ali Mukhtar and few other Pakistani angels is to start using the Standard Charter. So I started using Standard Charter. I started having all my startups open an account in Standard Charter Bank, and you have that already in Pakistan. So once they had that account open, and I actually knew that officer there in Lahore, I started sending funds to Standard Charter account of my startups, and then it worked fine. But there you need to have, I think, you need to have that contact and things like that. And thankfully for me, I know Syed Babar Ali and people like that, so it was easy for me to work with local investors to streamline the process. But imagine the double whammy, right, Khurram? Not just am I a foreign investor, but I'm an Indian. So it's even more tricky to be investing in Pakistan. I'm sure there was a lot of suspicion as to what is this lady doing here. And but I must tell you all, those of you who are trying to approach Pakistan, don't lose hope, stay tuned. It really is an ecosystem it's close to a tipping point. Once this COVID pandemic is over, start seeing some really good quality companies coming out, because even Pakistan is going to have to move online. Lot of things that we do in India, for example, which were office based, they are going to be online now. People are going to work from home. Conferences are going to happen from home, and meetings are going to happen from home. So stay tuned, and don't slow down. I think there is some fantastic companies coming out of Pakistan. I see them all the time, and there is no better way to really ensure your profits and your success in Pakistan if you collaborate with a local angel. You must have a local angel friend. You need that. I mean, I would, of course, not be able to pull off anything if I didn't have good friends like Ali Mukhtar and, a couple other. There's one more, Syed Babar Ali's nephew, Khurram, I'm forgetting the name. The Babar Ali Saab, which company is that?
Is the Lumps founder.
The Lumps founder. So his nephew is another very good angel in Lahore. And I actually bank on these guys to really, kind of help streamline my own work in Pakistan.
Thank you. So another example, I'm going to actually take Amjad Tareen bhai. So Amjad, recently you actually brought in some equipment for the water plant in Lahore, and then also it must have actually needed some cash flow in as well. So how did you deal with that situation?
Yes, actually, my experience was pretty difficult, actually. As I said, we went without lawyers, and I didn't have any understanding or too much understanding as to how we are going to import the machines and all that. So first of all, I went through hell with the State Bank of Pakistan, because it was my machine. I didn't have to buy it, and they wanted a proof like how much the bank paid for it and all that. I said, we didn't pay anything, and whatever I had to go to JP Morgan Chase to get a statement to make them understand that it wasn't paid to the bank. And it took about 2 weeks just to clear that misunderstanding. And then I had to go through customs. And my God, did I go through hell with the customs. I ended up paying $32,000 in taxes. So it was pretty difficult. Now we understand how it's supposed to be done, but it's a learning curve. I guess we all go through our mistakes. So, it's just like going to school and paying all that money. So luckily, everything is set up in Pakistan. That's the cost of doing business, the way I look at it. So there were challenges. So now the process is you take and you try to create a system where you're going to assemble the machine in Pakistan, add a solar panel to it, that it is saving energy and it's renewable. So there are a lot of things that we can do now that I have customs and other people and lawyers involved, so they can guide us, and I understand the system better than I did before. So it's easier now when our next machines are ready to go to Pakistan, and we are going to assemble them in Pakistan and also support Middle East through that, and be part of CPAC and take it to Central Asian republics also.
Okay, thank you, Amjad bhai. I just want to actually hear from Asif bhai, because I mean he has got like a wealth amount of experience. Sorry, your mic is muted.
Okay, now it's unmuted.
How were you doing it? Were you actually creating a legal entity here in the US, or you were just like transferring over the money to those startups? How did you invest in all of those?
Okay, so I invested in USA and I created a vehicle over here called self-directed IRA. So I was basically investing my IRA money, but like with Trump organization, I just invested cash. I invested $270,000 with the Trump organization, which most of it is gone probably by now. So in Pakistan, I'm discussing it with a couple of startups now. I haven't set up an investment vehicle over there. I have some cash, but I would love to invest because I have large amount in my IRA, which is a retirement account, and I have to figure out a way to invest my IRA money and try to set up some kind of a investment vehicle through some legal entities in Pakistan, and maybe someone who has already done it, I can learn from them. But I'm extremely interested in investing in Pakistan. So I'm looking into it, and as I learn more, I'll share how we can share.
Asif, I can help you with that. If you have a personal IRA, there is only one company in the United States that will let you self-direct your IRA into securities that are privately traded, or how to invest in companies. There's only one company that will let you do that, and it's based out of Colorado. It's called Summit, and I've done that before with several of my own clients. And I can help you with that. If you need help, we can communicate after. They'll help you do that.
Okay, even in Pakistan, I can invest with them, through them.
You will have to make a proposal. You'll have to have a subscription agreement. You are in charge, and they have a committee that sits down. Not really a committee. They are a holding company. So they will be your transfer agents and clearing. They will hold your assets. So you will have to make up a business plan, a subscription document, and submit it. It takes about 48 hours turnaround time to do that. I've done that in the United States. I don't see any reason that they would not let you invest overseas since it's a private placement.
Awesome.
Okay, so Asif bhai, basically Ahmed Hamdan has also commented, is saying self-directed IRA is the great vehicle to use. So you can also, contact him. You already know him. So Haroon bhai, you want to come in? Do you have any question for Asha? I think
I'm here, and I have this kind of burning question here that most of us probably apply to it. That based on your experience investing in Pakistan, are you satisfied in terms of the return of investment or any other fulfilling things that you want to share with us? Because this is some of us are kind of on the tipping point. Should we give up? Should we stay in it? Or if we do it, and how we do it? So in terms of financial return, and also in terms of any other expectation that you had with Pakistan market, and especially with the startups that you want to share with us, that it took you 2 years or 3 years or 5 years to get the comfort feel, or you still probably feel like on the bubble?
So a couple of things here. Thank you for asking that question. And Khurram, thank you for having me here, by the way, at the last minute. But here is what I don't see Pakistan as to be another country. I see Pakistan as India, also part of India. We are one. We are brothers and sisters, whether we like it or not. We all need to. Those of us who are fortunate to be, outside our countries, and we are wealthy enough to be able to invest. We need to be able to think of ourselves as people who are seeding a forest. We are going to lose some, and we are going to make money eventually, but we are going to lose quite a bit in the beginning. But we need to do this. If we don't do it, there is not much hope for countries back home Okay, we need to be able to pitch in right now with a strong stomach. And what Khurram can do right now is maybe he can form a group, okay, of angels who are based here, diaspora angels like you all. Partner with me, and we can partner with somebody like Ali Mukhtar, who I think is the top angel in Pakistan. High integrity, high standards, and brilliant. There is also the founder of Kavyam Networks. Khurram, what's his name? Do you remember the founder of Kavyam Networks, who's becoming very interested in angel investing in Pakistan? He's based here in Silicon Valley. He's probably over $1 billion now in net worth. Incredibly sharp young man. But we will need to start with a mindset first, which says our countries need us. Actually, they really need us. And yes, there is lots to be desired right now. Yes, there are a lot of uncertainties, and we are likely to lose a little bit of money in the beginning. But when we turn 80 or 90, inshallah, we should be able to go back and say we really made a difference, right, to our countries. I'm actually, I would say, very confident that in the next 10 years or so, we will see good exits if we invest in founders that have already been there and done that. So let's say the founders of Baikia who left and are doing something else right now. For example, the bus company, right? The bus the company that
Left and swivel.
Airlift.
Airlift and
Yeah.
swivel. Yeah.
So there are those kind of companies. What I think is important for us to do is accept the fact that we will go through a little bit of pain in the beginning, and that we need to work as a unified juggernaut that says we are going to make a difference in our countries. And then the first thing that we should be doing is trying to establish presence of at least one venture capitalist in Pakistan. Remember, the Indian tipping point started when the first venture capitalist from here, I don't know if it was, I think it was Mayfield or Sequoia or one of these, Silicon Valley VCs. Once they established an office in Bombay, the rest of it was, a lot of other VCs came in. Once a big giant like a Sequoia Ventures came into India, into Bombay. So we must have a goal like that. We could have a noble goal which says we will work towards bringing at least one venture capitalist from Silicon Valley to establish an office in Karachi. I've actually looked at 500 startups. I've been talking to Dave McClure to see if he can open an office in Karachi. They still are open. They've been very impressed by at looking at some very young early stage companies in Pakistan. They thought about opening an office in Karachi, and Dave is still interested. I think if Khurram, if you can form a little group that can take this forward, we should push it through. Once 500 startups goes and establishes an office, let's say in Karachi, because they actually have a partnership there. Imagine if they can show one exit or one little startup that is going from valuation X to 2x. I think other VCs will come start sniffing in. But we need to do this for our countries.
Asha, it's a great feedback, and I think that's the direction we are going in. As far as forming a group, we already have a group, and
Yes.
I'll explain to you. I mean, we have actually announced in last lift in November, we announced about $5 million syndicate. So there are like about 15 people already in that group, and all the people you see here today is some of them, and there are many more. I mean, ready to be actually sort of go in that direction. And I mean, obviously, that's going to be the next step to talk to Sequoia, talk to Startup 500, and many other ones. I mean, you have talked about many times before as well with me. So definitely looking into that direction. But at the same time, I mean, in my opinion, and that was the consensus, that we are not making enough angel investments in the startups at early stage, and that's what's needed.
I think just to not disconnect you. What I was saying, I think one thing I learned from probably what the Asha said, that probably we need some local angel over there. Ali Mukhtar that you mentioned, or somebody like that will kind of expedite and give us a little comfort in terms of kind of coordinating our efforts with a local angel over there that probably give us a little more heads up on what we want to do. One of the I think the reason after the lift 2019 we couldn't make the progress was we were still kind of trying to learn the baby steps, that how we can go collectively, even individually is almost impossible, but how we can go collectively. I think one of the things we can do is to kind of do a strategic partnership, collaboration, with the local angels that they're already doing it, in a very matured way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it reduces our risk actually.
Yeah.
But but remember, please, I want you all to, today after we leave, I want you all to go back thinking, remembering, thinking a bit more about, the fact that we will need to do this for our countries.
Yes.
And for me, Pakistan is my country also. Why
Absolutely.
not?
Sure.
No, thanks, Asha. It's been really amazing the way the work you're doing and trying to do some good for Pakistan, and that's what we all want to do. It's just we are actually looking into the perspective that how we can best do it. But this is why we are actually holding this whole conference. I mean, this is all about investing in Pakistan. I mean, the whole initiative is called Invest in Pakistan. So, I mean, there are some amazing people from around the globe has connected with this initiative. And I don't know how long you've been watching before actually joining in. I mean, many of the people like Amjad, you were listening to just now. I mean, he actually, traveled to Pakistan after 30 years from Florida. I mean, 30 years is a long time. That person doesn't actually travel to Pakistan during this whole time. And then you can see Nasir Bhai is the same way. I mean, he went and spent time. I want to actually take Jehangir and take a comment from him. I mean, since he's been established and looking into this like this element of it, what Asha was saying in terms of actually managing a fund element. So, what's your take on this? And we have to wrap it up. We already close to the end. So, please share your experience in terms of actually managing a venture capital.
The issue is that I have not set up a fund, because obviously setting up a VC fund and going that route, it requires a lot of documentation and requires a lot of capital in itself. So this is one of the things I wanted to address, also the regulatory piece, that yes, setting up a VC or setting up an angel sort of investment syndicate is challenging here. We all, through whatever our panelists just mentioned, with their experiences, they've found ways to do the transaction. They've gone ahead with the investments. But again, State Bank, SECP is moving in that direction. Jahan pe abhi they've brought up startups into the Company Act. That term has been introduced in the Act. Now the shareholding structures, and they're working on those lines. But yes, you can't formally found a fund at a smaller level. Nishat Crest Ventures has done it. There are other VC funds who've done it, but they're big groups. They're big family who achieved that. But with the relatively smaller investors like ourselves, like myself, rather, I would say, we can't go the VC route. We have to go the private equity route. Even with our overseas investor network, the best way is to get the money in from their own account into their account in Pakistan and match it up with the company. But regulation-wise, there has to be a lot of improvement. Taxation implications, repatriation of funds, the beneficial owners of the companies who are investing in Pakistan. SECP and State Bank are slow on it, but they're slowly and gradually, I must say, they're getting there. So locally, again, as all of you have experienced, same is the case here. I've not found a fund to go about it. You have to act smartly until the laws and regulations are relaxed enough where smaller funds also can come in.
Okay, thank you. We are just literally at the end of our session. I'm just going to go one last round. So anybody wants to add like 30-second comment, please go ahead so I can actually, finish our third day of the conference. So starting with Shafaat, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I think the important comment is, first of all, great platform, great session, great networking. And I really hope that what we are really trying to achieve here in terms of practically pulling in the investments, creating some kind of a vehicle to sort of channel our investments into startups. I hope we really achieve that, and we achieve it this year, because timing is the key for any investment. And now I believe it's the right time to do it. This is one. And two, I think, yes, if we have the right pool and the right investors and we all want certain things, it's the time that we can actually put in an application and speak to the local banking sector and the government to also help us regulate the whole thing, make the ease of doing business index better. And furthermore, we're talking about an e-commerce industry. The banks are charging somewhere around 7% to 13%. I mean, I wonder how e-commerce businesses can essentially survive during these times, because this margin is too high. So we need those kinds of things. We need some kind of taxes and all that stuff to be lowered for digital businesses to grow. And I think we need a very clear, practical vision. I think Pakistan is moving towards that direction. But I think if we all play our roles and take it really seriously, we can definitely create a serious dent into the market. And I'm very positive that we can create unicorns, because Pakistan is a tried and tested market. We have examples of Daraz, OLX, Zameen.com, same market, local market, big companies, and they have turned it around. So if they can turn it around, I believe all of us together can definitely turn it around and take it to the next level. And thank you very much, Khurram, for having me at Jumpstart. I'm truly obliged, and thank you all the people for your time and for sharing your insight. I've also learned a lot.
Thanks a lot, Shafaat bhai. And yeah, tomorrow we still have a few pitches to go. So anyhow, so next one is Nasir bhai, if you want to actually add something. Sorry, I can't hear you. You have to unmute your mic. Sorry, go ahead. No.
Thank you, Khurram, and all the panelists. I think we can all agree on one point, that Pakistan offers tremendous potential and a lot of young energy. We just need to find a mechanism to channel that into industry and businesses. One of the things that we kind of learn from everyone is that some of the regulations are challenging, whether it's importing hardware to Pakistan or even banking relationships. There's not a single US bank which has a branch in Pakistan, and transferring money and all those things are again issues that one has to overcome. So like all investors in this panel, and like at Jumpstart, we created our own group to fund businesses in Pakistan. We are still struggling to find good companies to invest in, or even halfway decent companies that we can find that we can just start the process. So I look forward to together finding some good companies that we can start and at least make them our test cases. And I think some of the information that all the panelists shares is very useful to me personally. Also, I learned a lot. Even the fact that so far, I mean, a simple thing like which bank to deal with in Pakistan, was something as simple as that. I didn't know, which I just learned that maybe Standard Chartered is the one that we can open an account and deal. So again, thank you very much, Khurram. Really, your efforts are commendable. And the amount of time you're spending to you take on this big challenge of taking investors to Pakistan. We all have to understand that any investor has many options to and many safe places and to invest. And when you go and invest in Pakistan, you're taking on bunch of additional problems or challenges that you would not face anywhere else. But we want to do that because it's our country, and we want to pay back, and we want to be part of the success and progress of Pakistan.
No, thank you. Those were great words, Nasir bhai, and that was the intention. I mean, that's the intention for everyone to kind of like help and sort out the issues and scale them to next 10x. And it needs the patience. I mean, if you look at the bigger names, Zameen raising like 150 million. I mean, it wasn't a short journey. It was a 14 years consistent perseverance, and that's what needs to be learned. Next is Mirza Bhai, please go ahead. Last few words.
I'll quickly wrap up. I will totally echo what Shafaat Bhai said and what Jehangir has said, and I myself have learned a lot. The main thing is like ease of doing business, and something that comes in my mind. Sheikh Rashid Saab once said like इन्वेस्टर वो परिंदा है कि जिस शाह पे गोली चले इन्वेस्टर और विजिटर वहां पे दोबारा नहीं आता बट now things have been changed. We have come this far from instability to a stability where we've been ranked as number one travel and tourism destination, and government has taken an initiative that this is the sector that is very important. And then you see the movement, a lot of entrepreneurs and little startups and then our things went up with the tourism system. So part of it has to do with the government has to take care of their end of the bargain. So it's a two-way street, and ease of doing business has to be very important. In US, if I initiate any business LLC, within 24 hours, I'm in business and I'm already making the sales. So those are the best practices that we have to start since the movement has been started. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So I think a lot of has been said, and I totally echo what other people are saying without wasting time.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Especially on the ease of doing business. I mean, the progress has been made, and we can clearly see that from 180, 136 now, 108 now. So if we come into the double digit, I think that's going to be. And I think after the the new startup legal structure is being actually passed, it's already been submitted, and that's going to be enacted. So that's going to actually take out quite a number of things, which would facilitate to form a company within a day, and then open up a bank account. So all those kind of things. Haroon Bhai, last words.
If you, as an investor, when you look at any new investment, you typically go through your the probably previous experiences, and then you decide that where the idea, the value proposition, and and how much money, and your return on investment and all that. I think when I look at myself and some others on this Jumpstart investors platform, I see one thing that is not tangible that I think that Asha touched on it, and that's probably the junoon. I think we need we all are kind of hanging in there, even though there's a return on investment. It probably we don't see it, but we are still hanging in there. And I think that's where the junoon comes. I mean, I got the extra dose of junoon today from Asha's, kind of reaffirming that what, hang in there, and there will be in the short term you might lose the money, but in the long term you will be fulfilling some of your own personal desire. At the same time, there will be a return on your financial investment. So I took this thing out of today's conversation, that it might not make financial sense for the short term, but in the long term, if you put maybe a 5 to 7 years of horizon, I think you will see financial return. And in the short term, you will see some fulfillment out of it. A purpose-based investment, a kind of difference-making investment. So I got an extra dose of it today. And I think hopefully who are those listening to us today, and they are probably sidelined themselves because of some disappointment in the past, I think they will jump back into the ring and see that, what, even a non-Pakistani foreign investor see and trying to capitalize on an investment. And this is going to be the journey, I think. And I reaffirm my commitment today that, what, it might not be the profit right now, but it would be a difference-making journey. So I think that this is my outcome out of today's conversation.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it happened like out of blue. Seriously, I didn't know. She commented. I sent her the message. She said, "Join back," and I think that was a great learning. And I know for a fact that, I mean, not just hanging in there, but she is believes it totally that this is the path through which you can actually change the country. And continuously, if we do that, I think that's the way forward.
Yeah, because sometimes we are fully kind of logical, when it comes to the investment. We want to find the right founders, we want to find the right idea, find right traction, right revenue thing. But at the same time, remember, one of the things we are kind of overlooking is the risk. literally, we all know that there is a risk. We all know that this is not a perfect market. We all know that there are some taxation that might get us in some situation, but we are overlooking that. What she said today, it was that keep doing it. Keep overlooking some of those logical things, and eventually it will make sense. And I think I believe it.
Yeah. So, any last words from anyone I'm forgetting? So, Amjad bhai.
Thank you. First of all, I don't think so I can improve or say anything better than what has been said before me. All of these guys are just brilliant. They're passionate. They're committed. They have the vision. One of two things I will, say, I can't improve on what you have been said. They can't do, anybody can do better than. But two things. So first of all, venture capitalism, I believe it's an experiment in optimism. We have seen SoftBank fail, right, at a mega scale with all the brains and all the graduates from Harvard, Yale, and MIT. Having said that, the second point I will try to make is that we as a group have to come forward. There are a lot of successful people. Skoy, I was just chatting with Mirza, and Skoy has a Pakistani partner in Silicon Valley. There's Vitalpo, $600 million cash business sold to Cisco. He's from Lahore. His name is Amir Khan. I met him in Silicon Valley. He was my junior in school. Brilliant young man, very committed to Pakistan. There are a whole bunch of people out there. I think so. The most difficult job is taking a business from 0 to 1. That is where we are. We are not at 1. We are taking a business to 0 to 1. That is where the challenge is. As a VC, we always believe we can bring in the resources available to us to change the fortunes of a company. And we all know 95% of all the investments in a venture capital, whether they are Blackstone, KKR, Carlyle Group, they fail. So it's an experiment in optimism. I find all of us who are on this panel right now in the morning, in the afternoon, we are basically at 0 stage. We are taking a company from 0 to 1. We can't be a bank to everyone. We can't waste our good, valuable resources with everyone. Will we miss good opportunities? Absolutely. Will we pick up some losers? Absolutely. But we still have to do our due diligence with the companies that we are bringing on board. So having said that, I think my humble suggestion with all of this group is we are basically the face and the vanguard. Whatever companies we take, we need people in Pakistan to help us to make sure we are aligned. Our thought process is aligned. As Jehangir is in Pakistan. We have other people in Pakistan who are on the ground. They have to make sure if we come as investors that these guys are aligned with our wishes and goals. And like Aisha said, we have to hold them accountable. We can't do a babysitting job right now. We can help them. We can give them a hands up, not a handout. Everybody wants money, but nobody has a clear path. I'll give you a small example, maybe inappropriate. Some guy wanted to tell me, and I was laughing about this before, but this is an actual story I'm going to share with you. Guy comes to me, he wants to start a web page, blah, 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 great. It goes from, I said, what do you do? He said, I will show you a video. And there he's sitting in Pakistan with a bunch of girls around him. And he goes, I want to start a dating website. And I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? I'm not remotely interested in this business model right now, and especially for Pakistan. So that's basically, the mindset of people. He's looking to raise $1 million from me, and this is his business model. That was a video clip, but a live video clip he was sharing with me. Having said that, I think so. This is a great forum for us to invest in Pakistan. We are all passionate. Look at the time all of these guys have taken. I don't even know what kind of steroids you use. Khurram, I've asked you that for the last year almost. I need to be on the same steroids that you take. God bless you. You are a force to reckon with. You are passionate. I don't even know if you sleep anymore or not, but definitely share the steroid that you use so I can at least take it for myself.
Jazakallah. Thank you very much, everyone. It was great. I don't know, Jehangir bhai wants to say. I think I took him last. So if any last words you want to add.
I think I'll just add on to what everybody said. And I think, Khurram, this is a great platform that you've built and you've developed over the years, or bringing us all together and connecting us with each other, as well as, showcasing that, there are people outside of Pakistan who are really bullish on Pakistan, who care about Pakistan, who want to invest in Pakistan given the right circumstances. I think that's a very good message that will go through this platform. Your efforts, jitni bhi uski tareef kare, there's very less, I would say. And in all honesty, the reason I moved back to Pakistan was the same thing. Although I'm a US resident currently as well, but I'm here on a travel permit. So point being that हमारी सबकी intentions are towards the right cause. There are challenges. It's not as developed as obviously a Silicon Valley or Dubai market or London, But having said that, the higher the risk, higher the return situation applies here. So I'll leave on that note. It was great being part of this panel for the last two days, and happy to collaborate and uh, offer my services in the future also, or be part of anything that you do. Thank you very much, Khurram.
No,
And thank you to all the panelists. It was wonderful meeting you, Amjad Bhai, Shafaat Bhai, Amjad Mahmood, Haris Bhai, everybody. Good to connect with you guys, and we'll definitely keep in touch after this as well.
No, thank you, guys. I mean, most humbled, whatever.
एक उर्दू में कहावत है कि वो मुझे एग्जैक्टली अभी याद नहीं आ रही, लेकिन उसको उस तरह वो कहते हैं कि आपने गुलिस्तान से छोटे छोटे फूल लेके ना वो एक बुके बना दी है, तो वो दैट्स व्हाट यू हैव the art, resource gatherer, कि you brought people from all over, startups, हर topic के ऊपर, so you've created that thing in a bunch, so
yeah,
kudos to you,
I'm just like I just try to see things, but the real work, I mean, we had the session yesterday, लेकिन the real work जो है ना वो volunteers का है. I mean, we have a full time team. I mean, obviously they work continuously throughout the whole year and everything. लेकिन जब वो conference हो रही होती है तो we need 30-40 people to actually work on different tasks. So it wasn't easy.
I'm sure.
So I just give them. I mean, whatever you said about me, I think I'm just gonna actually pass on that. The bouquet to them.
Of course. Please do.
They are the real, the power behind this whole movement. And alhamdulillah, more and more are actually joining in, and they are the ones who have actually made sure. And alhamdulillah, this is the first time we were able to actually start the session on time and then finish on time, and then getting all these people from Sydney all the way to San Francisco. I mean, they're like, how many time zones is it? So it's just like crazy coordination we did, alhamdulillah. So that's all credit goes to them. So thank you very much, guys. See you tomorrow at the startup session and the SME session. Thank you for tuning in.
Let's do it, guys.
Let's do it. That's the final word. So inshallah, we're going to be doing a lot more. We're going to be discussing a lot more, inshallah. So thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I mean, some of the viewership, because I've been told that some of the number of participants we announced was going to be like about 25,000. But just on the first day, the number of people, or the people who were actually watching it in total number, was 95,000. And the word has gone around. It's just crazy. We're going to be actually publishing the number of people or the number of viewership in total 4 days after that, and then you'll see. But I think these possibilities जो अल्लाह ताला जिन आजमाइशों में डालता है हमें, वो अल्टीमेटली एक ऐसा भी वक्त आता है कि वही आजमाइशें हमारे लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी बनती हैं. उन्हीं में से हम रास्ते निकालते हैं, और वो रास्ते अल्टीमेटली हमें वहां पे पहुंचा देते हैं जो हमारा अल्टीमेट विजन होता है. तो उन आजमाइशों से घबराना नहीं चाहिए, और आगे बढ़ते चला जाना चाहिए, और मुस्तकिल वो चीज़ें आती रहेंगी. कभी हमारे दरमियान में भी वो चीज़ें आएंगी, कभी हमारे दिल में भी वो चीज़ें आएंगी, कभी हम आपस में भी लड़ेंगे, कभी हम आपस में भी चीज़ों को डिफरेंट तरीके से देखेंगे, कभी हम सैड फील करेंगे, कभी हम अच्छा फील करेंगे. This is how the human nature is, but ultimately we have to keep eye where we want to get to, and that should be our vision. So I'll end today's session, and then inshallah tomorrow is the last day, so I'll ask everybody to actually tune in. We have several really great sessions coming up tomorrow, so do make sure that you tune in. And today I'll end with the final promo of our conference. So inshallah, see you tomorrow.
Pakistan is a country with great potential. Now, Pakistan, in my opinion, is ready. Right now is the best time for investors to come to our country.
Now, Pakistan's stock market is booming. Stock prices are at their highest level ever, and investments are pouring in.
Spending more than $50 billion on energy and infrastructure in Pakistan.